Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Grit Talk Show, the 18th episode. For those of you who do not know, Grit is a learning and development platform which provides remote services to companies looking for coaches, trainers, and mentors. We also connect individuals looking to get from a certain place to where they wish to be, especially professionals. Um, we connect them with our coaches, and we have a whole panel of wonderful coaches you'd be really interested in seeing on our website, gritcoaches.com. So in our series of Grit, we cover these wonderful topics that different coaches and different experts in their field talk about. And today we have with us Ahmed-Shah Duranai. He is a really esteemed live and lead by design coach. He's an author, educator, founder, and head coach of Duranai Enterprises in Canada. Joining us from Canada, Ahmed-Shah. So we would love to know the topic that you have chosen today is the different perspectives of leadership and management. And nowadays, there's a lot of debate between being, what makes a good leader and leader versus manager. So can you shed some light on the different perspectives that you have studied and observed um, in your journey that has been very rich and your experiences? What have you come across that I'm sure everybody will be enlightened with?
Well, first of all, from my side, I'm in Canada, so I want to say good morning to everybody. And of course, there are people all around the world. So it's good morning, good day, good evening, wherever you are for your audience, and also good afternoon for you, because we are geographically, I don't know,
Yes.
9 hours away from each other. And thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to appear on your platform. Obviously, if one will go to Google and put the word leadership there, you could find maybe more than 150,000 references to leadership and management that is there. So it's very popular and complex. But what I have prepared for this, for our meeting today, for this conversation, was to have different opinions of thought leaders as to what could be the difference between leadership and management. And so I will go straight in order to save some time. I will start with Peter Drucker, who is, I would say, a guru in the domain of management and leadership. So his concept was that leadership is to do the right thing, and management is to do the thing right. It's a very intricate balance and playing with words. So the leaders decide what is to be done, and that is whether right and wrong will determine how good leaders they are. And
yes, so it's the difference between decision making and execution.
Yes, based on Peter Drucker's point of view, that will be the difference. One is to make a decision as to what to do, and then the management will be how to do it.
Yes.
Okay, once the decision is made. So that is one perspective, and it's very popular in the leadership schools and management in people who deal with it. The other perspective is from Keith Davis, and Keith Davis, he says that leadership is to persuade others to seek defined objectives enthusiastically. And that enthusiastically is an important thing. It is the human factor which binds a group together and motivates them towards a common goal, that the group of people. So this is his concept of what a leadership is. Leadership is involved in persuading other people to follow common goals. Management, according to him, management activities such as planning, organizing, and decision making, and here he somehow differs from Peter Drucker. Decision making are dormant cocoons until the leader triggers the power of motivation in people and motivate them to take action. So they are intricate, they are connected with each other, according to Keith Davis. The other person that I selected is Warren Bennis. Warren Bennis has several ideas. He says the manager administers, the leader motivates. So that's the difference between them. The manager maintains, the leader develops. The manager relies on systems, the leader relies on people. The manager counts on control, the leader counts on trust. And then the manager does the thing right, the leader does the right thing, which is again from Peter Drucker. So as you see, people don't necessarily have, they have similar opinions, but they differ. There are some commonalities and there are differences also. The fourth person that I wanted here to mention, and that is David Buck. He's one of the founding fathers in the coaching business. He runs Coachville, which was actually created by the father of coaching. And his opinion is this, that the management is the science of command, control, and compliance. And this is a very suitable for things that can be broken down into tasks and then assign people to work on them. And this in the 20th century science of management that developed. That's how, by creating these tasks and assign people to work on them and perfect them, that's how human being was able to put a person on the moon. That's how they made all these advances in science and technology, etc. So it's very important. Leadership for him, however, is different. Leadership has to respond to the evolving needs of the human activities of today. As such, says people do not want to be managed. Tasks need to be managed, but people do not want to be managed. But they do want to be coached.
Yes.
Okay? People want to be coached. Hence, leadership for him is the coach approach. So, and he deals with this gamification of business. That, the leader creates a kind of a game for the staff and the employees, that they play that game, and as a result, the organization flourishes. That is his approach. I have collected, when I was writing the book, which is here behind me, that you see, the leadership zone, I reviewed and interviewed many, many people, and I came up with a kind of a synthesis, if you might say, of all these things. And that synthesis for me is that every organization can be divided into 5 distinct compartments. Okay, and so one of them is, in every organization we have systems, in every organization we have processes, and in every organization we have tasks to be done. Those tasks are to take us to the vision of the organization. And then, so those are the 3 key elements. The other 2 key elements are people and change. Every organization is there not to stay static, but to change itself and to change its environment and to change its surrounding. Otherwise, the organization will have no reason to be there.
Mm.
Now, so my understanding is that the best way to integrate the concept of leadership and management is to say that in an organization, the management aspect deals with processes, tasks, and systems, and leadership skills deal with people and with change.
Mm.
There is, so in an organization, when we look, if we look at the organization as a pyramid, then where are these skills that are needed? These skills will be then, let's say, when we look at the organization, the organization has this hierarchical things. So at the top of the organization is establishing the vision of the organization.
Mm.
Then comes the mission statement. Then comes the core values. Then comes the strategic plan. Then comes the the work plans, and then comes the implementation. And we could say that in all of them, both tasks, those skills that are related to tasks, processes, and systems are needed. And also, to a certain amount, the people skills are needed. But when you look at the hierarchy of the organization, at the very top, at the level of the vision and the mission statement, you need more of the people skills, the change that is required in order to formulate those things. But a limited amount of the other skills, the management skills, what I refer to, are also needed. As we go down the hierarchy of them, we come to core values, to strategic plans, to work plans, and then to implementation. We need more of the task, processes, and system skills, and less of the people's and change skills. And that's how in the hierarchy they work, but we never reach zero in one or the other. At every level of the organization, we need both management and management and leadership skills. And so that is how I looked at it.
Yes. Yes. So at every level, so basically there is a leader in me, and so we have to learn how to be good managers, like be
Yes.
good executioners, plus be good leaders with good people skills, no matter what level we are at. So
Yes.
in order to grow, we need to have both the aspects within a person, no matter what the level of hierarchy.
Yeah, we need to wear those hats. The thing is that to understand when we are involved in a particular activity, to understand which part of it is the leadership hat and which part is the management hat. And so those are, so my skill in performing a particular task myself, that will be, let's say, a management one, to see how efficiently I can do that. But when I'm in a team environment, I'm dealing with several people working on the task together, then I have to wear also the leadership hat so that I can bring those other people together with what these different opinions that were there, create the common goals, create for them a kind of a game that it is a game that they're involved in it. You know, in sports, if we look at it, the best game is played by the team that is most integrated, that is well coached. In organizations, in business organizations, it can also be the same.
So in essence, we all need coaching skills to be a part of us, to be good in our professional environment, and of course in our personal.
Exactly. And as you know, I'm sure you are aware of that there are coaching has now become very important in many corporations.
Yes.
When they have their staff reach a certain level in the organization, they will invest in them. They will bring coaches from outside to coach them so they can become more effective. And they can learn not only to manage themselves, to be leaders in their own right, but also to lead other people towards those organizational goals that are set for them.
So I have a question here.
Yeah.
That I love the perspective that each person needs to have the leader and the manager in them. But often people who are good with the management skills, they tend to become so micro that their ability to lead perhaps overshadows that. And to be a good leader, you need to delegate as well. So when a conflict arises, because maybe naturally you have one instinct or one side of you that is stronger, then how do you maintain a balance?
Okay, so one important aspect for an individual, and when I coach people, one aspect that I let them know is to find out what they're good at, what are their strengths, and what are their, what I would say, weaknesses. And if they cannot improve, they cannot get rid of their weaknesses to improve in that area, then I coach them to learn how to delegate effortlessly. Because delegation itself is a big challenge for many people. And so, and to delegate to other people, they have to learn how to create an environment of trust. And that environment of trust is very important if delegation is to work properly, and that you don't micromanage. I mean, people who cannot trust and delegate, they will micromanage the tasks. And if you give them a team, they will micromanage the team also, and that will lead to failure. So the main function of the team leader is to maximize the potential of the team.
To empower them.
To empower them, to max, and that empowerment might be in every team. For example, let's say in any sports team, every individual is good in a particular place. Let's say in football, either you are in the back, or you can be in good offensive, or you can be good in defense. You could be good on the right side or on the left side, etc. And when the leader determines the potential and the talent of each team leader and assign them the correct location in the team becomes very effective. And then they can do the game, they can play the game or perform the task very efficiently.
Yes. I have a question here that while there are so many personality assessment tools as well, which recognize the different strengths and areas of improvement of a person, but it's always said that a good leader should have a good eye for recognizing the strengths in people. So is that proverbial eye, is that something that can be developed? Is there a way to develop that eye for the right talent and the right person for the right job?
Yes. Everything, in my opinion, when it comes to leadership and to management, is a learnable skill. We can learn them. Now, one thing that the leader has to do is important skill that they have to master is communication skills. And it's through communication skills that they can actually understand the team members, and that communication has to be open in both directions. And so some studies say that 60% of what leaders do is communicate. They communicate ideas, they communicate um, uh, whatever comes into their mind, they communicate to create that in the culture and the environment where the team people can flourish. An important element for them to understand, to have that eye for the people, is that who has a particular talent. If there is no open communication between them, then the team members may not be open to express what they are good at.
Yes. A lot of times, since a leader is somebody who is leading a team or maybe an organization, and is in a position of authority, people tend to get intimidated, although that particular leader might be really good at communicating and may even encourage people to share their views and opinions and thoughts, but people might get intimidated simply by the fact that they're supposed to maybe say certain things in front of them or maybe not. So how can a good leader develop that sense of comfort where the team members are more willing to communicate more freely?
Yeah, very, very good question. Very good question. And my perspective on it is like this, that there is the IQ and there is the EQ that we all have. Okay, so it is said that your IQ will determine in the organizational hierarchy where you will reach in the organization. How high you will go in the organization is determined by your IQ. But whether you will stay there depends on your emotional intelligence. So a good leader has to develop a high level of emotional intelligence. And the 4 components of emotional intelligence are that first, they have to know how they are affected. Self-awareness is the first element in emotional intelligence. How when other people do or say things affect them emotionally. The second element is how they should control their emotions when those things happen, how they can manage their emotions. The third component is what they call it social awareness. They have to become aware of when they say something or when a third person says something, how it affects the second person, the person in front, how they're affected by it. And then the fourth component is relationship management. How do you manage those relationships? So this is item number 1, is the emotional intelligence. The second one is there are various different leadership styles. There are roughly, in my estimation, around 16 different leadership styles that exist, that people manifest that they are dominant in one or the other. And every one of the leadership styles is not necessarily good in every conditions. There are certain leadership styles that are good for some conditions. There are certain that are good for others. And a good leader has to know what their style is and where is their style most effective. And then they can apply it there. And when a different leadership style is needed, they have to have that kind of courage and strength to delegate to other people with those skills.
So basically, a good leader needs to have good self-awareness as well.
Yes,
and understanding of their styles and the style that would be required as per the situation at hand.
That's correct. It's called situational leadership style. So some situations require that you just command and say this thing must be done. There is no time for meeting, for discussions, etc. It's an emergency. It's like the building is on fire and you need to give orders, do this. there are certain other times. So some people, for example, have this, they are good in starting things. They are good initiators, but then they really suck when it comes to growing and development, right? There are some people, you give them a task, they will finish it very quickly. There are some people who you give them a situation, they will sustain it over a long period of time. And so these are different leadership styles. And if a person knows where they are most effective, and then they work in that area, everything will be rosy. We also come from the way human being has grown over in the history. We have three dominant leadership styles. We are either a hunter, or a shepherd, or a farmer. So these styles are very important. Some people, they are, so a hunter has a very narrow vision and they focus on one particular task, and that's the prey. Okay? They cannot see, a peripheral vision is very narrow. So those people will be good for particular tasks to do. For example, give them a project to work on, give them a sales task to do. So they go after a particular client, take care of them. A shepherd has a wide peripheral vision. They want to protect their flock, the team, and the people that they serve, the clients, etc. So their vision is much wider. A farmer, on the other hand, knows the law of the land, the environment, and everything. In the long run, what happens, when to put the seeds, and when to give it water and fertilizers, and how to protect it from insects, from everything. And then at the end, the harvest, how to sustain that, how that system works. And people have, they have tendencies to be dominant in one area or another. So when they know those things and they're open to suggestions, then they will be most effective where their style is suitable for. And when it's not suitable, they delegate. So if they are good hunters and the situation requires a farmer, they bring a farmer and put it there. When they requires a shepherd, they bring a shepherd and partner with them.
Yes, so that I feel is the most difficult thing actually.
Yes.
Bringing in the right people at the right time, and then aligning them with your values or your vision of the organization. A good leader is supposed to have these people skills, that he's able to act like a shepherd to at all times, and take gel people together and take them as a whole. So does that mean somebody who is an introvert would struggle being a leader?
No, there is some confusion about being an extrovert and an introvert.
Yes.
They can be excellent leaders and be extroverts, and excellent leaders and be introverts. So my understanding of an introvert person is a person who, in order to have their drivers, to drive them towards some certain things, they don't need external stimulus. Okay, they can stimulate themselves from within, and an extrovert cannot stimulate themselves from within, so they need external stimuli in order to drive them towards particular actions. So having said that, they both can be very effective leaders, but obviously they have to know their strengths and weaknesses, and then they focus on the strengths and manage their weaknesses.
Yes, bringing people and aligning them with the vision, as I said earlier, what would you say would be the 3 top skills, if we had to just mention 3 priority-wise, that would really help them bring people and like lead them as a team? and
Yeah.
unite as a united team.
Okay, so the skill to communicate,
Hmm.
mm, the skill to delegate,
Hmm.
and the skill to identify uh, talents and strengths of team members.
Hmm. I think the third one is the area where most people struggle the most. All these are, of course, you have to be very conscientious about
Yeah,
each one. But the third one, I think there's a lot of room where I'm sure people feel it's never enough that they have developed. Or how do they develop these skills and they know they have developed them? Is it the performance of the team? The results that makes them is validates that they have developed that eye for
yeah.
recognizing the talents and strengths.
So it depends on the level to which the leader has evolved. Okay, the leader uh, can be a coach to the team or can be a mentor to the team
Hmm.
or can play as a consultant depending on their own ability, their own experience. Okay, uh, if their experience is more, let's say they have worked several years more on particular tasks, etc., than the team members, then he can be a mentor to the team
Hmm.
because he or she has already seen those situations and can lead the team members through the ups and downs of the situation.
Hmm.
if if they are of the same level and one is promoted because the management or the leadership of the organization has said that, okay, you be the leader, and they are of more or less of the same level of experience, then the coaching skill will be much more better, because the coaching skill is by asking questions and
Hmm.
relying on the talents of the team members.
Yes.
Eh?
So
So
it's number one, communication that
yes,
is directly aligned with the with number three,
yeah.
the I for the talents and strengths.
That's correct. Yeah, communication is very important. Uh, there is a saying attributed to Albert Einstein and says that in the universe, nothing happens until something moves.
Hmm.
And so my interpretation, I'm a master trainer of verbal Aikido, which is an
Hmm.
advanced communication skills, and we train
Hmm.
people in that area. Uh, Verbal Aikido was developed by one of my mentors, James McNeil,
Hmm.
and I'm one of the few master trainers of it. In that program, what we teach people is that you learn how to communicate honestly, openly, respectfully, and directly without tearing people apart or feeling guilty about it.
Hmm.
So that is an important element. And I have added to it. It says that in society, nothing happens until someone communicates.
Of course, we cannot not communicate. We
Yeah,
have to.
exactly. So communication is key.
Hmm.
James McNeil says that communication is almost everything, and almost everything communicates.
Hmm.
So it's so key. And when it comes to leadership, it is like, some study says that even in terms of verbal or written communications or emails, 60% of what leaders do is communicate.
Hmm.
And when you learn the communication skills, the other skills become very easy, because when you can communicate your ideas um, at the level of persuasion, you see, they're not just command, and sometimes command is required to communicate as a command, like in military situation or in
Hmm.
firefighting or something emergency. But but even when you reach to the level of using persuasive communication, then that brings a team into alignment with the ideas that everybody agrees to.
Yes. So good communicators can influence using their because they are able to develop a more credibility and more trust within the relationship, which causes in turn more loyalty and
Definitely.
more in yes.
Definitely. Look at them as three concentric circles, okay? Three concentric circles. The inner one is control self. So this is part of the communications. You control yourself. We looked at from an emotional intelligence point of view also, how you control yourself. The second one is how do you manage your interactions with other people? Because now you are in control of your emotions and you are equipped with the communication skills. So now you manage the interactions. And in the third circle, you influence people. That's how the spectrum works.
So that was a lot of knowledge added to our limited insights of different perspectives of leadership. But I am seeing the trend that people are now wanting to learn more about what makes a good leader. And from what I'm hearing, and as you mentioned, it requires good communication skills. It requires good delegation, a good eye for recognizing the strengths and talents. And each person really needs to develop both the aspects in them. Being a good leader when that's needed, being a good manager when that's needed.
So that third element is to have the good eye. I will summarize it as good skills in team dynamics.
I'm making notes today. I've made lots of notes today.
Yeah. So there is communications, delegations, and team dynamics. Those will be the three critical elements for an effective leader. I try to avoid using the question of efficiency. I have in my book, this book, The Leadership Zone, is based on a formula that I have developed, and that is that whatever outcome we get is the product of our being and our doing. So our being times our doing equals our outcome, our what we have. And there are so many elements. The being part is more related to the leadership. The doing part is more related to the management. And then the outcome comes in. And I have created a list. I will just see which is in the doing part and which is in the being part and which is in the doing part. So character is the being. Okay? Behavior is the doing. Transformation happens in the being. Transaction happens in the doing.
That's interesting.
Okay, then effectiveness related to our being, efficiency is related to our doing. Education affects our being, training affects our doing. Most people confuse between training and education, but there is a fundamental difference between them. So art, which is related to the right side of the brain, is part of the being, and science, which is the left side of the brain, is more structured, is part of the doing. And then there are a lot of other things. So the EQ is part of the being, the IQ is part of the doing. Leadership is part of the being, and management is part of the doing. And there's a huge list that I had prepared for it.
Yes.
In my book.
It's in the book. So thank you so much. I would love that we have the link to the book as well. We'll share it in the comments.
Yeah, sure. We can do that. And I don't know how much more time we have, but if you have any questions, I'm available.
Yes. Would you have any concluding remarks or comments that you'd like to share?
Yes, what I would like to say is that when I was doing research for my book, The Leadership Zone, I reached this conclusion that the leadership DNA is in each one of us. We are, because our, I come from the Muslim faith, and in all the Abrahamic faiths, we say that God created Adam, who is our grandfather. He was created as a leader. God commanded all the angels to bow to Adam because he was created as a leader, and we carry his DNA. So we are all created as leaders. Whether we will nurture that DNA to become in real physical universe as leaders will depend on our awareness and our environment. The three things that determine, and all those three can be changed: our environment, our education, and our experience. The 3E I refer to. So
3E, environment, education, and experience.
And those three determine everything that comes afterwards. It determines our belief system, our pattern in life. It determines our thought process. It determines our emotions, and it determines our behavior. And from our behavior, we get our experience. The outcome is an experience, and that experience feeds back into the first three elements. So if we are not happy with our outcome, then we deal with those three. Either we change our environment, or we get more education, or we get a different kind of experience. And then everything will go there. It is like, if we are not happy with the fruits of the tree, we cannot do much about the fruits, but we can do something about the roots. And when we do something with the roots, the fruits will improve. So the roots, in this case, I refer to it as our reality loop, are the three things: the education, the environment, and the experience. And if we learn how to be cause over them, then we can change the outcome.
Yes. So everything is learnable and changeable.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights. It has been like a journey actually in these past 40 minutes. Talking to you always is. It really sort of, I think, at least with me, I feel that it really takes me to another world and to a different world of thought to think at a deeper level. So thank you so much for that. I'm sure anybody who is watching got a lot of information. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment box and we will get back to you. And please feel free to reach out to Ahmed-Shah Duranai on LinkedIn and do get your hands on that book. I surely am going to get my hands on it, The Leadership Zone. It's available on Amazon and it's available on your website as well.
Yes, yeah. And Amazon is with people who have previously had purchased the books and they want to share it with other people. They sell it through Amazon.
Okay.
But if they want to get, I prefer generally the electronic version, the downloadable PDF, and they can get the PDF from my website.
Yes, so that would be a better.
Yes, from my website, and they get it right away. I just email it to them.
Yes.
The hard copies are available in North America,
Mhm.
only also through my website. Otherwise, the shipping cost makes it prohibitive to send it to other
Yes.
continents. In North
Ye-
America, it can work. I
Yes, but we can
usually
always get the downloadable copy.
yes, but the downloadable version anybody can get it,
Mm.
and
Mm. So thank you so much. Really honored to have you here today. And thank you for those who were watching. Please stay tuned for more episodes. Wishing everybody a nice weekend and a lovely weekend to you, Brother Ahmed.
thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank
and
you.
thank you
Bye
for
bye.
giving me this opportunity to share some of these ideas and concepts and viewpoints. I hope people will like it, and they can always have their comments on, you
Hmm.
know, and we'll look at the comments. And yes, they can connect with me on LinkedIn, and
Mhm.
also Facebook. They can follow, but I think, maxed out and the number of people.
Yes, and we'll share the link to your website too. So
Yeah, thank
thank
you.
you so much once
Thank you
again.
very much.
Bye
Yeah,
bye.
take care.